Jersey, your average American town prior to Hurricane Sandy, about 43,000 residents, 25% of which would be under the age of 18. Average American income of a home here in Sayreville, a little shy of $34,000. A number of homes have had their items removed during the year, but no one is presently living in these homes. You could see the impact that the water made on foundations as well as other parts of their homes still today, a year after. Welcome to William Street, one of the 4 regions of our town that was directly affected by Hurricane Sandy. William Street is presently in the second wave of buyouts in some neighbors, as well as here, as you can see, a process of reconstruction of actually having to raise the house. Shortly after the hurricane, Monsignor Dalton Hall became the first donation and distribution site for the residents of our town. Individuals from all parts of our state and corporations were sending food, necessary housing materials, as well as clothing that were either directly picked up by the residents here in our town or distributed by volunteers to the homes that were directly affected. It was early in December here at Monsignor Dalton Hall that there were actually the beginning of casework processing taking place. 2 days were selected, and representatives of both the Catholic Charities, the Diocese of Metuchen, and Catholic Charities USA were here doing direct casework intake and processing to begin the process of assistance, of relief, and building towards, as they are now, recovery.
When you were first called about the storm, and you heard about all that devastation that went on in the community, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind was, number one, I had to worry about the safety and security of the clients who lived with Catholic Charities, so all of our 24-hour facilities, make sure that they had what they needed. But then I just sat in my living room and said, most of our clients are already living on the edge, and most of them are already in despair and vulnerable. And so what is this storm now going to do to their lives? And how are we going to be able to be there to help them?
Now, after emergency shelter,
they had insurance, but they didn't have the money for the deductible. Could we give them that? So, you know, we gave out a lot of money for that purpose, but then that allowed people to then get cars and go back to work. And we also tried to think about small business loans to get businesses back on their feet, and to, you know, allow workers to go back to work because the business would be open and then they would have income to come in, and then counseling. There was, you know, we were poised and ready to run groups and start to counsel people who were feeling, you know, pretty devastated.
well, if I might interject, I'd like to tell a little story about asked to go out to South River from a case manager. And we went to see this home on Washington Avenue, and the house from the outside to me looked pretty good. The siding was there, the windows were up. But I opened the front door and it felt like the scene in the Wizard of Oz where she opens the door and the whole world is different. And we tried to assure the woman, who spoke very little English, hardly any. I spoke to her through an interpreter, her older daughter, and we said that we're going to do everything to try and reconstruct this house for you. And the daughter, who was doing the translating for me, started to cry. And they started crying because the kids want to be in a home, they want to be together, but they don't want to go back in that particular house.
It's so sad that the children are afraid to go back to their own home.
I guess my next question to you is most of the work done?
The work is far from done. This is something that is not going to go away anytime soon.